Hi everyone, my name is Anita Ladhani. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and an energy practitioner. And this is probably part one of a 3 to 4 part series on raising brilliant kids. So let me start by, prefacing that I have 2 boys. I have a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old. And of course, like any parent, I wanted my kids to be brilliant. I wanted them to be smart. I wanted them to be intelligent. So, I went ahead and I did all the right things, right? I wanted them to do well in school. I wanted them to be successful adults. So I did the, Mozart, right? Playing that, reading to them in the womb and doing all of that. And just when they were born, of course, once they started doing a lot of, one-on-one time, but then also doing, once they started school, really just making sure their schedules were packed. They were going to, Kumon, they were going to, piano lessons. My kids didn't take piano lessons, but in our case, it was, music lessons at the local, music shop before they started school. Swimming lessons, and then this club and that club, and I see what I do. In case you didn't know, is I work in an emergency room of a local children's hospital, and my job primarily is to do the psychiatric assessments of kids when they come in because they're depressed, anxious, they're suicidal. They're, seeing or hearing things. They're basically either have attempted or are thinking about hurting themselves. So that's pretty much what I do, in addition to the fact that I've spent, the last 20 years raising my own kids and having had the privilege of working with hundreds and hundreds of kids over the years. So here's my 2 cents. The first part of these series, I want to talk about parents and the expectations that we have of kids, of raising kids. And I'm going to start with something that's really, this is The Prophet. I know it's backwards, but it's Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And I want to read to you this simple short verse that talks about children. And this is brilliant. I mean, if you haven't read this, you should have this on your bookshelf and read it often. It's different, thoughts on love, marriage, children, giving, eating, and drinking, and on and on. So I want to read to you about having children. And this is something that I must have read along with Deepak Chopra's book before I was even pregnant with my firstborn, 20 plus years ago. And this has really sort of always been in the background of, my subconscious thinking. So the prophet says, and a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, speak to us of children, to the prophet, right? And he said, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. This is key. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. This is crucial, you are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you, the archer being God. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows, which are your children, God's children, may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. So let's talk about that. I think today we're just going to talk about, this part. So your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself, right? We all want kids because we want to see a little mini me and a little mini, your husband, my spouse, right? We want to continue life. It's this inherent need and sort of nature that all of a sudden it's like, I remember waking up and it's like, okay, I really want a child of my own. And, so, and then it says, they are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. So you may give them your love, but not your thoughts. And so I think a lot of times we parents, we mean well, and especially those of us, and many of us are immigrants. Many of us are either not even first generation in the States, or we are maybe first generation in the States. And we want the best for our kids. We want them to be successful. We want them to be, have an even playing field. We want them. But what is successful? What does that even mean? Does that just mean that they're, they have a big house and they can afford all the fine luxuries? And what do we do to them in this wanting to do what's best for them? And the prophet says, give them your, be careful about, making sure that you're not giving them your thoughts. Give them your love, but not your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. And if you're one of those parents that's aware, you'll see this young baby generation of kids, they're brilliant. The stuff that comes out of their mouth, it just blows you, right? It blows your mind. You're just like, what did this child just say? Like, and they're so smart and they're so brilliant. And what do? We tend to sort of, unfortunately, even with our best of intentions, we tend to sort of almost break that out of them, right? Because we have expectations, we want them to be a certain way. If, we all want to raise brilliant kids. But let me tell you something. I read this or I heard this, I don't know how many, decades ago. And it's always stuck with me. And that is that, we all want brilliant kids, but brilliant kids are very challenging to raise. They push you. They will question you. They're not going to follow your rules. They're going to explore and break the rules and do things that you don't want them to do because they have minds of their own. And so it's very challenging. You'll find yourself, I know that my kids were both very, very smart, and, they would push, and it was frustrating. It was very frustrating. And at the end of the day, I really had to honor who they are, right? So even with the best of intentions, we want our dog kids to be, especially if you're Indian, right? Indian, Pakistani, we want our kids to be doctors and lawyers, right? I mean, that seems to be, or now computers, of course. And, that might not be their gift. Every child comes, every person comes with their God-given gifts. And I know it's our responsibility as parents to nurture that, to foster that, right? And some of that happens when you just allow them to be, give them time to play, honor them, respect who they are, listen to what's coming out of their mouth, listen to what they're naturally drawn to. So if your child is naturally drawn to, books, great. Encourage them to do that. If a child is naturally drawn to, drawing or coloring or music or sports or whatever it is, encourage that, right? But we also need to we provide the structure. We provide, the basic, send them to the best schools, make sure, they're safe, make sure they're, exposed to, the best environment possible. But build in downtime for them. I think one of the things that I'm seeing in the families closest to me, and I remember I've been guilty of that too, is that, we're on the go from the minute we get up, right? And it's like we get up in the morning and it's like, go, let's go. We got to get ready for breakfast. Come on. Breakfast, quick, get ready. We got to get in the car. We got to get to school. Boom. You're getting to school. Oh my God. Okay, I love you. Bye. See you later. And then you pick them up at whatever after school. It's like, let's go. We've got tennis, we've got Kuman, we've got swimming, we've got, piano, and then you drop them off, pick them up, bring them home. All right, quick, hurry up, homework, let's go. Okay, yeah, sure, you can go out. Maybe if you're lucky, you can play for, 15, 20 minutes in the backyard, if you're lucky. If not, it's like, okay, come on, dinner, let's go, bedtime, get ready for bed, boom, let's go, come on, good night. All right, go to sleep. And the next morning, okay, come on, get up, you're late for school, up again. And that seems to be your entire day, right? And day in, day out. And if maybe you're, on the weekend, even on the weekend, you've got birthday parties and religious education classes, and, where is the downtime is what I'm asking. Where is time to just play? And play is crucial. Research has shown repeatedly that kids need play, because when they play, when they have unscripted, controlled, controlled play, they just thrive, because that's when their neurotransmitters, form and connect in their brain, the neural pathways. Let them explore, let them, sit and stare in space. Let them just have, time to foster that imagination. And let's just, honor and enjoy this whole raising kids business, instead of rushing through it. Because let me tell you, as someone who has a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old, they grow up and life gets busy, and then they leave the home. Like, I haven't seen my 20-year-old since, what month are we in? I mean, since the end of the summer, since we went to, Costa Rica. I won't see him until November if I'm lucky, because even now they're planning a ski trip, so I don't even know if he's gonna be home. And those of you who have older kids in college, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They do grow up, they do go away, right? And what you've done with them in the first, 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 years is really all the time you have with them to create the foundation, so that then they can go and live fulfilling, happy lives. But what ends up happening, unfortunately, parents, is that in our desire and want to make them successful, we forget about mental health. We forget about the fact that, we need to raise kids that learn to balance themselves. We need to raise kids that learn safe coping skills. They know how to say no. They know how to set boundaries. They know how to take care of themselves. And this is why I hear from a lot of kids, not just under the age of 18, but even in college, that are having anxiety issues, that are having depression issues, that are, having to take time off, or functioning, but really just sort of sleepwalking through life. It's a nervous breakdown waiting to happen. And I think that's something that starts very early on. You have the chance, if you have young kids, to do that right, to do that correctly, accurately, create that foundation now. Anyways, this was part one. I'm going to do a couple more talks about more on that. And so anyways, I hope this was helpful. If there's anything that you feel that, we need to talk about, please inbox me or message me, and I hopefully will cover that. Take care, love and light. God bless.